Okay, today we're going to be going over Beau Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier, which is obviously a flanker of the original. And really what I want to do is kind of tell you where this one slots into the line, because pretty much every year it seems like this fragrance line, just like many others, are continuing to expand. We're getting new flankers, new releases all the time. And most notably, this year we just got another new one, Le Male Elixir, which is a fantastic release. But that does mean the more that they release, the harder it can be to dive into the line if you're a beginner and you don't have any of them. And it also maybe makes it a bit harder to decide which ones you need to have and which ones maybe you can do without. So I want to kind of go over this one, just break it down for you, cover all the basics, performance, scent, character, if it smells similar to anything, and all of that. And then you can make the decision at the end. It's also worth noting that this one has caught an impressive amount of hype. And, you know, I guess that isn't uncommon for Le Male fragrances, right? You take a look at all of them from the original to Ultra Male to Le Male Parfum, and I can already tell the new Elixir, they have all gotten a lot of attention in a mostly positive light, and it seems like they really know what they're doing. Another one, Popeye and Superman, the summertime versions, you know, they really seem to know the trend, and they seem to know just kind of how to time things to put out some amazing scents that work well and take off. And so each time this one comes in stock on discounters, it sells out quick. And I'm talking really fast. Like, people are waiting around for this one to show up below retail, which kind of at first surprised me quite a bit, but I've seen the demand and it's there. And so if you're wanting to get a bottle for yourself, I recommend you sign up to my mailing list and my texting list. You can hit the first link down below, sign up to the mailing list. You can send any text to the number down below to sign up to get text alerts as well. It pops up with some sort of regularity. I'll see it once or twice a month, maybe a bit more. And again, it sells out quick. So you will be notified about this and any other great restocks or deals or sales if you get on those lists. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this one. So off the initial spray, no surprise, it is a very sweet scent. I think that's something that we would all expect from any Le Male fragrance, but especially as they have continued to put new ones out each year, they tend to get a sweeter and sweeter as time goes on. And again, that's kind of the way that the men's fragrance trend is moving right now and has been for some time. So it does open up sweet, a little bit tropical from the coconut accord in here. You get a hint of a fruitiness from the pineapple, and that pineapple coconut. One, it kind of gives it a little bit of a kind of a Malibu rum kind of, I don't want to call it boozy, but kind of in that vein. Mostly just a tropical smell through and through is really what this one puts off. And after all, that is very much a tropical drink, tropical smell. When I think of a Malibu rum, I think of someone sitting on the beach just enjoying their vacation. And this one does kind of have some of that going on. Again, though, it's very much leaning into the sweet style of men's fragrance, and that's not for everybody. Again, chances are if you've clicked on this video and you're watching a review on any sort of Le Male fragrance, you probably come to expect that, but I do like to make it clear. We'll go ahead and run through the full note breakdown on this one. Up top, we have pineapple, iris, cypress, and ginger. In the mid, we have coconut and woody notes. And in the base, we have tonka bean, sandalwood, amber, and ambergris. So again, I already covered a couple of those there. Pineapple, coconut, by far two of the most prominent accords in this one. You pick up on them right off the very first spray, and you will continue to smell those further on in the dry down as well. Notably, a little bit of iris. And iris is something that they've toyed with in other releases like Le Male Parfum. Uses a little bit of it in there to kind of give it a little bit more substance. And with this one here, I want to make it clear that it doesn't smell like Dior Homme Intense or Valentino Uomo Intense, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, and so on. Does not smell like those just because it includes iris. Doesn't smell like Prada L'Homme. You know, I think it's easy for people to lump something into that category when they see iris, and it's the same thing as you see ambergris or ambroxan, and you lump it into smelling like Sauvage or Dylan Blue or whatever. Kind of a similar deal there. And again, another example, you see pineapple, you compare it to Creed Aventus. That is very much a common thing within the community, and a lot of it comes from people who just haven't smelled them at all, but they want to try to give input anyway. So I want to caution you to be aware of that, but ultimately, it doesn't smell like any of those things that I just listed off. You know, again, this one's really leaning into a sweet, fruity, tropical type of smell. And to be fair, it also is kind of getting away from a lot of the other Le Male fragrances as well, because the original, Ultra, Le Parfum, you know, On Board, Popeye, none of those really smell tropical smelling or anything like that. On Board and Popeye / Superman kind of would lean into that summertime style for sure, but not in a tropical way, more so in a lighter, fresher, kind of minty green type of way for a couple of them. And so I think this ultimately is actually providing a bit of a different take, and you get some utility for that reason, because, you know, there's going to be situations that you would wear this one in where a lot of the others of the line wouldn't fit. And again, I'm talking summer evenings, summer date nights, going out to any sort of parties, get-togethers, clubs, bars, whatever, in the summer evenings, times where it's going to be casual, fun, and playful. That's where this one comes in. I think Ultra Male personally would be too sweet at summertime. I think, you know, Le Parfum, similar deal in the summertime for those events, too sweet and not really fitting. This one gives off, again, to reiterate, that fun, playful type of smell that I think really would provide some value. And also another thing I want to say that I think maybe would mean something is I'm not usually a big fan of coconut fragrances. Okay, there's a couple notes that I really do not like usually. One of them is coconut, the other is fig. Now this doesn't have fig, but I bring that up because they often kind of can go hand in hand, and generally I just don't like them. Now with this one here, the coconut is balanced out by the other notes enough, and it's done in such a way that I actually like this fragrance. I like it a lot. And going into it, you know, I wasn't for sure if I was going to, because again, I'm not a fan of that note, but they really pulled it off well here. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the case for everybody. You know, I still think some people who may not like coconut still may not like this. It just depends on how sensitive you are to that note or how much of a distaste you have for that note. I think it was used in just the right way here, just the right amount to where I can really get behind it. But I can't say the same about a lot of other coconut scents on the market. You know, even something like Creed Virgin Island Water for me at times is a little bit kind of going and pushing it too far. That's got a lot of rum and sugar, and it's sweet as well. And, you know, kind of does a similar thing that this one does, gives off that summertime tropical smell, but it's a sweet summer scent, just like this one is. So, you know, I think this one is really well balanced. And that's another thing I guess you could talk about. Oh, this is too sweet to be a summer scent. You know, there's so many factors that goes into it. Again, I think in the evening, when the sun is down, when you have a little bit of a breeze, especially if you're going out and doing things, you know, it does cool off in the summertime. And so it would be easier to pull this one off. But I mean, also you look at something like Virgin Island Water by Creed, it's known to be a summertime scent, and it's almost even sweeter than this because it's also using a heavy rum accord. So, you know, you just kind of have to go into it with an open mind. And, you know, some people subscribe to, oh, only citrus and only aquatics for summertime. And I think that's kind of just a boring approach. You can really kind of branch out and try some things like this, and you would be surprised how well they work. Now this one is an Eau de Parfum Intense Concentration. Longevity on my skin has been really solid, impressive. 8-9 hours on average, which I really can't complain about. Some may wish for more. Sure, I get it. We're in the age of a lot of beast mode fragrances, but even still, brand new releases are coming out that maybe don't do as well. So it's not the norm necessarily, although it has become more common. I do think that kind of coming back down to earth and kind of looking at it level-headed, 8 to 9 is a really good range to shoot for here, and I think that is plenty. In terms of projection, especially in the heat, it pushes out really well. You don't need to go with a ton of sprays to achieve a lot of projection out of this one. It also does leave a good scent trail too, for what it's worth, and one way you can test this is simply to spray it up in the air. Don't spray it on yourself. Spray it up in the air. See how long you can smell it. I sprayed this up in the air at the beginning of the video. I can still smell it now. That's kind of a way that you can test if you are by yourself and you don't have anyone to ask, while you're wearing it, going from room to room. Sometimes it's hard to tell that way. So that's one little trick you can use to kind of give a general idea of if it's going to leave any sort of trail or not. It's not 100% foolproof, but it does work somewhat. So I really can't complain about performance. And again, when you kind of look at all of the past releases, Ultra, Le Parfum, and even the new Elixir and so on, they all have really good performance. It kind of maybe is lesser with new batches of the original, or maybe back Superman, Popeye, those didn't have maybe as good a performance, but a lot of their newer, sweeter offerings do very well. And price point on this one is going to be anywhere from, I've seen it as low as like $65 for the smaller, I believe, 75 ml bottle, or the 125s like this are going to be, I don't know, I think up into the 80s. I can't remember for sure. It varies a lot and it just depends. But it's not to the point where it's unreasonable. It's pretty much on par with Ultra and all of the others. And so ultimately, I think if you are looking for a summertime date night scent, just a general summer evening scent that you can wear that does give off that tropical vacation type of smell and has good performance and great mass appeal, this is really a good one you should look into. Also, for what it's worth, I think the presentation is cooler. It's more angular, sharper edges to it. I think it just is kind of a welcomed change of pace. Pretty sharp looking, nice gradient going on and all of that. Maybe that's important to you or maybe not at all. Okay, so again, Beau Le Parfum, really solid release for summertime evenings, cooler summer days, whatever. If you want to pick this one up, I'll link it down below. Likely sold out. It's hard to time a video like this for it to be in stock because it would just sell out quickly anyway. So get on the mailing list, get on the texting list, and I promise you will be able to secure a bottle of your own when it pops up. But again, it does sell quick, so you do need to be somewhere near your phone to get those notifications and act on it. But you don't want to miss out. Deals, restocks, rare stuff, big sales happening all the time all over the place that you might miss out on when you're at work and doing something important. All you need is one notification to the home screen of your phone to take advantage of a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.